question, how did you get started in MMA or combat sports more generally?
How did I get started? I'd watched on TV, and I used to go around my girlfriend's house at the time, or my present girlfriend now, but we used to be up late at night and watching like Cage Rage and what is it, fucking Strike Force and stuff, and all those late at night and that, and then like I kind of just fell in love with it, and I had the belief that I could do it, and it was made for me, sort of thing. Do you get me?
Yeah.
I started training, and literally I had my first fight within 2 weeks. Because at the time, my best friend was fighting, and we used to go. We used to go to his fights a couple of times, and everyone used to kind of ask me, when am I fighting? Because they knew I loved fighting and stuff like that. So, and I used to play it down, saying, "Nah, it's not for me, and all that." So, I had an injury in the gym. I used to go to the gym and push weights and that. And I had an injury in the gym, and which I tore my pec muscle, and which made me start going to like a boxing gym and like a kickboxing kind of gym. And I just started skipping and shadow boxing and stuff, and doing a bit of technique and stuff. And then I said to my mate, get me a fight. And then he got me a fight within like 2 weeks. And it was a pro fight, because I didn't know like the difference between amateur. I didn't even know there was amateur or pro or semi-pro or whatever. And he just got me a fight. It was a pro one. I didn't look back after that.
Wow. Oh, and then looking at your career, we've had a lot of accomplishments throughout. We've had winning the BAMMA title. We've had 5 defences.
I didn't win the BAMMA title. I just fought on BAMMA once.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
I won the UCMMA title.
My mistake, sorry.
I defended it, I think, 5 or 6 times. Then towards the end, the UFC called me twice, and that, and I didn't feel I was ready, because I'd only been training like literally 2 years, and that, from picking up my first pair of boxing gloves, and that. So I knew I wasn't ready, and before then I saw like loads of UK fighters get signed to UFC, and then get chucked out after a couple of losses and stuff like that. So I knew that I wanted. I had my eyes focused on UFC, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. I knew I'd get there, and I just had to do the right things and that. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah. And maybe if we talk about your UFC run, is there a proudest moment in there? We've got highlight reel finishes. We've got headline in the O2 twice. Is there a moment that sticks out at all?
I think the moment what sticks out for me is the knockout in the main event of UFC London, and that, because it was just picture perfect, the whole night, the whole build up to it, and how it happened and everything, and I couldn't have asked for a better night than that. I think that was probably my my highlight, as well as other knockouts and stuff. And we even before I was with UFC and everything, I had many great nights at the Troxy for Ultimate Challenge, and that, and where I brought the whole city to the venue, and then the whole place was fucking shut down on many occasions, and that, and you know, I always finish with a knockout or a stoppage or something.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. And obviously, we saw your retirement last year, June 2019. Of course, I don't think we could mention your retirement without some of the losses that you had. But was there other reasons behind that? Did you feel maybe at 39 this was something you were already thinking about? Tell me a little bit about the retirement itself. The
retirement was just I'm kind of like my own biggest critic. I don't really listen to anyone like on the media or social media or anything like that. I'm kind of like my biggest critic, and me losing to someone that I knew that I could beat, and that, and it was a hard pill to swallow. And then I just thought, you know, I was in my feelings and everything, and I just thought, you know what, fuck this. this and that, but it literally lasted like 2 weeks or something. I tried to enjoy myself and go out and fucking get drunk and not care and everything else, but eventually it all came back. It all came back to me and all that. I'm a fighter at the end of the day. Do you get me? And this is what I do.
Yeah. And maybe talking about Jimi Manuwa post-retirement, how much of the game are you still involved with? Do you still train at all? Maybe not to the levels, but do you still train? And how much of a coaching or cornering influence do you have?
I still train a lot. I still train up until the first lockdown this year. I was training twice a day. I was doing a lot of boxing. I was doing a lot of fitness and everything, and I was actually working towards like coming back and fighting. And then the lockdown happened with the gyms and stuff like that, which kind of slowed everything down and that. And then like I'm still training now and that. I'm not really coaching. I'm only coaching a couple of my fighters and that. And I like both roles. I like coaching and passing on knowledge and information and stuff, and making fighters not make the same mistakes that I did during my career. Because with the retirement, it's got me to kind of analyze my career and the things I did wrong and the things I did right as well, what worked and what didn't work and that. And yeah, I like both roles.
Yeah. And I know you're at Cage Warriors as much to enjoy the event as anything, but I know you're there cornering the young pro. Is it Will Currie?
Will Currie, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what's going to happen on Saturday with Will's fight.
Hey, Will's a great kid and everything. He came to my gym when he was like 16 years old, and he's been kind of with us ever since. I actually closed the gym, but we kept training together and everything. And I now manage him, and he's a great young kid and everything. He's always willing to learn, and you know, I'm excited about his career, and we just got him signed to Cage Warriors, and looking to make a big splash in the division.
Yeah. I know he has 3 finishes. I think they're all by submission. Or should we expect a 4th on Saturday?
A full submission or
a 4th submission? Yeah.
We're in the finishing business and that, so any finish is great. You know, he's well rounded and everything. Great on the feet, great on the floor, and you know, I just look forward to him showcasing his skills.
Yeah, great. And maybe if we carry on talking about Cage Warriors, it's, I would argue, the main place where we get big British talent. We seem to get a lot of British talent out of there. You are one of the pioneers of British MMA, or one of the greatest fighters to come out of England in the MMA scene.
Thank you very much. Sounds great, doesn't
it? It must sound great, yeah.
Sounds good, man.
If we look at the game now, the British MMA scene now, if you could maybe give me some fighters that impress you, maybe if we say, could you give me 3 British fighters that impress you today?
I like Fabian Edwards.
Yeah.
Very well-rounded, sharp, southpaw, and that. I like his style. He's got great finishing rate and all that, and he's exciting to watch as well.
Yeah.
What, did it have to be UFC or up and coming?
Just Brits.
Fuck, can't I think of any? Fucking. Like Darren Till. Darren Till's exciting to watch. I like fighters that are exciting to watch, you know.
Yeah.
And showcase great skills. and that. Paul Daly, can't go without mentioning Paul Daly as well. Great chaos. He was actually at my first fight and everything. I went to my first training camp at what's the name of the gym again? Rough House in Nottingham back in the day, and that, and I like trained with Paul Daly, and he's a great inspiration for me. Yeah, and that's about it, man.
Great.
John Edwards, obviously. For all these top great fighters, there's so much great talent in the UK now and everything. And it's not like UK's can't wrestle and stuff like that no more. It's not that story no more, you know.
Yeah.
We're right with the rest of the world.
Yeah. Hopefully we can see it. I think we've had an English belt. We've had Liam McGarry, haven't we? Liam McGarry was Bellator champ, and we've obviously saw Bisping.
Bisping was UFC champ.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't think I could finish this interview or even begin this interview without asking you about maybe a comeback. You mentioned there was a potential early before the COVID hit. Is that something that's on your mind? Is that something that we could see in there?
Always on my mind. Always on. I think it's the fighter in me, and the competition runs deep in my blood, and I can't watch a UFC card with a light heavyweight fighting and analysing and thinking, I can beat him, I know I can beat him or whatever. Do you get me? But you know, it's hard at the minute because the gyms are closed. They're back open now and everything, but it's been hard with the COVID and stuff, with gyms opening and closing and stuff like that. So it's kind of like messed up everyone's momentum, and especially mine as well, with wanting to come back or wanting to think. So it's hard to like gain any traction and that. But like it's always on my mind. It's always on my mind, and I'm planning to make that comeback. No, 100%.
Great. And can I ask, obviously you won't go into specifics, but if you were to make a comeback, would it only be in the UFC, or would you look at other options like, say, a Bellator or even a PFL or something like that?
I think I spoke to Kamaru. He offered me PFL and everything, but these organizations don't really tick the boxes for me. And maybe, I don't know. Rumble's just signed to Bellator, which is a crazy move, man. It's a crazy move. I thought he must be paying him good money, and that, and it's a possibility. For anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. We've seen in 2020, everyone's got to wear masks now, so anything's possible.
Got to walk on a bank with a mask in 2020.
Telling you, imagine legally.
Another question I did want to ask. Tell me a little bit about your nickname, Poster Boy, because I love that nickname. I think it's fantastic. Where did you get that from?
Mate, you know what? That was literally, I got that literally from my first fight, and my first when I got my first poster for my fight to put up in all the shops in my local area, and I looked great on the poster and everything, and I called my missus called me the Poster Boy actually, and it just stuck from there. Wow. But I want, like, looking back at it, I wanted to be the poster boy for UK MMA and that, and that was the story behind it.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent you probably did become the face of British MMA. Maybe Bisping captured that for a year or two being the champ, and then when he retired, you seem to maybe have that 2018, 2019.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
And one thing I did want to talk about, Jan Blachowicz. I remember when you were rematching him at UFC London card. One of the narratives that was coming out is that you were slightly annoyed that he was the only fight that you'd went to decision with, I think, at that point. And that was one of the narratives coming out of the fight, that you wanted to put your mark on that fight, on that opponent. Looking back on them two fights now, what's your opinion of them now Jan is the champ? And is there a small chance we could see that trilogy?
The first fight was a great fight. It was the only fight that I'd been to decision at the time, and I was annoyed that I didn't get the finish. I was trying so hard to get the finish. I won the fight on points, but I remember being annoyed that I didn't perform like I wanted to, and I didn't get the finish. It was my first decision, and so the second fight, I thought, right, that's it. I have to finish him. I know I can beat him. I just want to finish him. But I think that played to my disadvantage because I was looking for the big punch too much. I actually watched the fight about 3 nights ago, and I was like, oh God, this looks fucking terrible. And now I was walking through jabs, just to try and land one big punch, and that's a totally wrong way to do it against someone like Blachowicz and that. And he's a very awkward fighter, and he's good at getting out of the way and punching while moving back and stuff like that. So I took the wrong approach to the fight in the second fight, and with the trilogy, mate, he's a champion now, so I can't just go in there and call him out just because we're 1-on-1, and I know that I'm gonna have to work my way back up to get that, but mate, with me, with me, I believe I just get if I get 2 finishes, I can get the Blachowicz fight again, and but it's actually getting the job done, which that's the hard part, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I'm working hard towards it, and hey, we'll see what happens.
Well, my last question would have been a yes or no question. It would have been, do we see Jimi Manuwa back in the cage? I think from this interview, we've got quite a clear understanding that that's a yes more than it is a no. So I would maybe reframe that question to, when would you like to get back in the cage if this comeback is for real?
It's going to be 2021, obviously. And do you know what? I think the ball is in my court, and that whether it's going to be UFC or another organization, I don't know. Even boxing, and I've been doing a hell of a lot of boxing and getting my hand sharp again. And I'm even up for a boxing fight in there, but I've just got to have the right opponent. So I don't think there's many small heavyweight boxers, because cruiserweight boxers, there's not really no one big to make a big fight, you know.
Yeah.
Like a small heavyweight boxer, and that I'd be up for fighting.
Maybe a domestic fight.
Man, it's got to make money, innit? Do you get me? I'm not just gonna fight for fucking fighting's sake, and that, you know. But no, man, we're weighing up our options, but at the same time, we're training and keeping fit and ready.
Brilliant. How can people contact you? Sorry, how can people get you on social media? What are your social media handles?
My Twitter is posterboyjm, and my Instagram is @pb1_.
Brilliant. Well, thank you a lot for this today, Jimmy. It's very much appreciated.
No worries, brother.